Yes, man, what is going on? Just wanted to jump on and share a client case study with you today, as this is a transformational journey I wanted to share with you all. This is one of my brothers from Men's Inner Mastery Academy, Stephen Quinn, who has been on an incredible journey over the past few months, from being a man who was unfulfilled, who was anxious, from being a man who felt like he had tried everything and there was no way out, from listening to other marketing gurus. And, we were only interested maybe in taking your money, but not creating real and lasting change. To being a slave of his unhealthy vices, and being a man who lacks self-worth and fulfillment in the world, to now being a man who's completely mastered his life. He's got a bulletproof purpose and vision for the future. He's magnetizing the life he wants, and, he's showing up fully, which is benefiting not only himself and his career, but equally his partner and his relationship with his children. So he was a man who was stuck in life. He was working his ass off. He was trying many different methods. He was struggling with sleepless nights, crippling anxiety and worry, turning to unhealthy devices, such as, alcohol, and, trying different fads, different diets, different meditation, breathing, exercise, fasting. His self-esteem was really in the gutter, and he felt hopeless. We had tried so many different things and thought there was no way in which he could now change. And he fell into this pain loop in which many of us as men do when we can't find a way out and we feel like there's nowhere else to turn. But he knew he had to do something different. And he realized that, there was a cycle that he needed to break. So, he completely overhauled and changed his perception, because the perception he was in was keeping him locked in pain. No matter what red flags were there, no matter, what he did externally, he couldn't find a way out, and it was affecting every area of his life, his discipline, his clarity, his direction, his relationships, and he knew something needed to change urgently. So he decided, to turn his pain into purpose. He took the brave and bold step to take action over his problems, and to become the master of his own story and the master of his own destiny. But he knew he couldn't do it on his own. And this is the thing, man, we tried to do it on our own. He knew he got to a point that he knew he couldn't do this on his own, and he got the right help, and this changed his life. So we implemented the Map to Mastery method, which, is 4 pillars. It's 4 key components of a man's life to get him from where he is right now to where he wants to be. So we methodically identified the patterns that were showing up in his life, and we completely shifted his perception of all his past events, looking at a timeline for what had gone on in his life, for being the man he was today. And when we do that, man, it frees up energy for us to go and create the future in which we want, because we're no longer the victim of our past. We become master of our destinies. And for many men, they will stay locked in these cycles, in this pain, and they armor themselves up to life. And, we keep ourselves riddled in this pain cycle for a very, very long time, until we decide that enough is enough and we need to change. So this is exactly what Steve did. He went back and he rewrote his story from the past. He identified the roots at which they were coming from, these limiting beliefs, these thought processes, these sometimes toxic behaviors, and we brought, what was unconscious into consciousness, and we bring man out of the head and into the heart. We change the relationship with our past. It frees up energy for us to magnetize the life we want, man, and we reauthor the story. We're no longer looking at the past with regret, with pain, with shame, with guilt. And, this basically rewires our nervous system for success in all areas of our lives. So we follow the universal roadmap for personal growth and mastery that is available to any man. He just has to claim it. He has to be willing to go all in, and he needs to be willing to be in the top few percent of men. So when we implement these pillars, they create the foundations for which everything in our life comes from. And this is exactly what Steve did. He created a magnetic vision. He looked to get all areas of his life firing at a top level for him. Being a man that was now fulfilled, a man that now had purpose, being a man with direction, getting crystal clear on who you want to be, but also getting crystal clear on, the pain you're creating for yourself and how you're perceiving past experiences and your current life circumstances. So we remodeled his understanding of his purpose, of his mission, of masculinity, because many men don't know what it actually means to be a man. We're unaligned with our purpose. We're lacking fulfillment. We're lacking direction. We think we're going to be successful by achieving X, Y, and Z on the outside, but it ends up with us feeling more confused, isolated, and alone. And, we have to shift our identity. And when we do that, men, we become committed to something much greater than us, and everything in our life begins to change. And this is why I call it the river of change. We install a new blueprint about, or we did install a new blueprint on Steve's past, present, and future. And, his self-worth, your masculinity goes up. When we start to show up in the world authentically as we are, we start to take control of different dynamics of our life. We install key masculine foundations and principles. In Steve's case, one of his main blocks was always seeking validation and fulfillment outside. Once we dealt with that, we built an unshakable magnetism, self-belief that allowed him to step into his life with full mastery. So a recap on Steve's story. He was a man who lacked fulfillment. He was stressed. He was worried. He was overworking. He was turning to unhealthy vices. Fast forward a couple of weeks of implementing this step-by-step process. He completely changed. He overcame, the things that were keeping him locked in the past. He took inspired action, and he is now a man who's clear on his purpose. He is a strong, heart-led man, and he is now bursting with fulfillment and ambition for life. So getting clarity on the things that are keeping you stuck, not being able to regulate our stress or emotions, seeking approval and validation from the outside, and having distorted beliefs about who we are, about masculinity, and about our purpose. So the next steps, man, is, you can either, you've got three options here, fellas. Don't do anything, which most men will do. Do it yourself. Most men, again, will try to do everything on their own. And it ends up with more men, they're trying everything on their own. They've got all this information, but they haven't got a clue how to implement it. Or, you get expert guidance. You speak with men and you work with men who have been there and done, the path that you are looking to walk. Men who have been where you have been. Men who have, completed the step-by-step process to live a life of true happiness, success, and fulfillment, just like Steve. So if this sounds like you, men, and you're ready to be in the top 1 to 3% of men who are mastering their lives and taking full ownership and accountability for where their life is at, then let's jump on a free Mat to Mastery call where we will identify your unique blueprint. We identify the areas you're struggling with. We'll create a game plan to how to get these problems solved and to help you move forward with power, with presence, with purpose, with precision, and get you, firing on all cylinders in your life so you can live the life in the way that you want to live your life, because this is what it's about, man. So click the link below, book a call, and let's get this handled, fellas. Let's go.